Heroes are remembered, but legends? Legends are felt, not just for what they did, but for how they made us feel while doing it. There was a man, short in height, defiant in spirit, who played football like it was war, like it was worship, like it was rebellion. He dribbled past nations. He stood tall in stadiums filled with pressure. He was not perfect, not by any measure, but he was unforgettable. This is not just about a footballer. This is about a warrior of joy, of pain, of God, and of the streets. This is the untold mindset of Diego Armando Maradona. Quote 1. Football is the most beautiful and healthy sport in the world. It shouldn't have to pay for the mistakes of some corrupt people. To Maradona, football wasn't just a game. It was sanctuary, a sacred ground where you could rise even if the world wanted to keep you down. He was born into poverty, in Villa Fiorito, a slum outside Buenos Aires. Dusty streets, barefoot games, a battered ball. But when he touched that ball, the world faded. The pain disappeared. The fire began. As he rose through the ranks, Maradona saw what most never do. How politics, greed, and media corruption tried to twist the beauty of football into business, into manipulation. But Diego? He always defended the game. He called out injustice. He pointed fingers at FIFA. He raged against hypocrisy, because to him the ball was holy, and the game a battlefield for truth. And even when the system tried to break him, he stood with the people, with the underdogs, with the spirit of the sport. He reminded us all, it's not the sport that's broken, it's the greed that tries to own it. Just like a true warrior doesn't blame the battlefield, he fights the tyrants who poison it. Quote 2. I am black or white, I'll never be gray in my life. This was Maradona's core. He didn't live in the middle. He was all in, or not at all. Whether it was loving his country or criticizing a coach, fighting addiction or celebrating victory. He never wore masks, never played politics, never softened the truth. And that made him both worshipped and hated. But warriors, true warriors, don't care about being liked. They care about being real. Gray is for cowards. Gray is safe, quiet, diplomatic. Diego was none of that. He said what he believed, did what he felt, fought for what he loved, even if it burned bridges, even if it cost him endorsements, even if it made enemies. And isn't that what greatness demands? In a world full of filtered lives and controlled narratives, Diego Maradona stood as a raw force, unpredictable, passionate, and fully alive. I am black or white. I'll never be gray. That's a warrior's code of honor. That's fire with a face. Quote 3. To see the ball, to run after it, makes me the happiest man in the world. This one is where the soul of Maradona shines, not in controversy, not in World Cup glory, not even in the hand of God, but in this simple truth. He loved the ball, like a child, like a monk, like a man in love with destiny. He once said, "The ball is my lover," and you could see it in the way he played, joyful, free, magical. For him, happiness wasn't fame. It wasn't money. It wasn't control. It was the sound of studs on turf, the spin of the ball, the rhythm of movement, the chase. This is a lesson to us all. In a world that teaches us to chase titles, power, approval, Maradona chased joy. And joy made him dangerous, because when you find joy in the process, not just the prize, you become unstoppable. Let me tell you something else. The warrior who fights with joy in his heart is the one that terrifies kings, because that kind of warrior doesn't need external validation. They're already winning, with every step, every swing, every breath, just like Diego, running after the ball and into history. If you've made it this far, you're not just watching, you're listening. And maybe deep down you're one of those rare few who understands what it means to play life like a warrior, to chase your craft like Maradona chased the ball. If that's you, then hit that like button, subscribe to Conrad Warriors, and drop a football in the comments if Diego left a mark on your soul. Now let's keep going. It only gets more powerful from here. Quote 4. I made mistakes and I paid for them, but the ball is never stained. This is his confession. Diego made mistakes, publicly, painfully, drugs, chaos, fights, suspensions, exile, collapse. But never once did he blame the game. The ball, he said, when I was never stained. That's accountability, that's reverence. He didn't say, I'm perfect. He said, I've sinned, but don't blame what saved me. Imagine a knight who has fallen in battle, broken, bruised, but instead of spitting on the sword, he kisses it. Because he knows his flaws were human, the mission was divine. The ball for Diego was that mission. Even when the world tried to say Maradona ruined football, he stood tall and said, no, I ruined myself. Football gave me life. This is the code of the true warrior. Own your flaws, protect your purpose, because greatness is not about perfection, it's about truth. Quote 5. God makes me play well. That is why I always make the sign of the cross when I walk out onto the pitch. I feel I would be betraying him if I didn't. Behind all the chaos was faith. Diego saw his gift not as self-made, but as God-given. He didn't kneel before money, or media, or fame. He knelt before the Creator. Every match, every time. To him, the field was a sacred place. The moment the ball rolled, he wasn't just performing, he was praying. He believed the divine ran through his feet. And here's the paradox. A man so imperfect, so troubled, yet so close to God in the moment of creation. It makes you think, maybe God doesn't choose the perfect. Maybe he chooses the passionate, the broken, the real. And through them, he moves. Maradona wasn't a saint, but on the field he was something else entirely, a vessel, and he knew it. That's why he crossed himself, not as ritual, as respect for the fire that lived in him. In today's world where athletes chase brands more than greatness, where every word is managed, every moment is staged, Maradona remains the wild, unfiltered soul who gave his heart, not his image. Compare him to today's carefully sculpted stars, and you'll feel the difference. He wasn't a brand, he was a storm. He wasn't a role model, he was a mirror, showing us beauty and madness in the same frame. And that's what makes legends live on. In summary, my Conrad Warriors, in the end, Diego Maradona wasn't just about goals. He was about soul, a soul that danced with the ball, wrestled with demons, challenged the elite, and bowed before God. He showed us that warriors don't have to be flawless. They just have to be fearless. So if you ever doubt your path, if the world calls you too much, too emotional, too flawed, remember Diego. Remember the warrior who played with love, with rage, with faith, and with freedom. He wasn't a saint. He wasn't a villain. He was a storm. And the ball was never stained. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe, because legends like Diego Maradona, they don't die. They echo. Every time a child kicks a ball, every time a rebel speaks the truth, every time a warrior refuses to go gray. This was Conrad Warriors. We don't tell stories, we awaken them.